lesson 09, and it's going to be sequence 05 auto reframe. This here sequence we're going to use to demonstrate the auto reframe effect. So as many of you know, we've mentioned SD footage and HD footage as we've talked throughout the semester. What we're currently looking at is HD footage, and it also has the dimensions 16:9, so it's more rectangular. Our SD footage from the TVs back in the day was standard definition, and it was square, so it was a 4:3 aspect ratio. You'd think we would have gotten away from all these different sizes of videos. However, with the use of our cell phones and maybe TikTok and other stuff that's vertical now versus rectangular like the theaters and TV has kind of went to, there's still a need for having this reframe effect. And you could do all this manually by going into each clip and choosing the space that you need for where you see his face. However, Adobe Premiere has a neat little trick in it. Make sure your timeline is highlighted. You go up to sequence, and then it's going to be auto reframe sequence. It's down here towards the bottom, and a lot of settings are going to come up. But as you notice here, I was talking about aspect ratio. So if we choose 1:1, which is the default, see what I said, 16:9, that's what we're currently at. There's also some other vertical ones that might work for your cell phone, but this here one will provide a square, so it will be equal on all sides. Leave your motion tracking at default. Make sure your sequence name is there. You can rename it to something else, but notice it's adding the 1x1 behind it, so it's telling us it's a square one. So it's going to make a copy. It's not actually going to get rid of our existing sequence. So don't be afraid that you'll lose all your work when you do this. It's actually going to make you another one. Down here, it talks about clip nesting. We've learned some of that already this semester. The one thing to be mindful of is if you have keyframes in your work and you're trying to use this reframe, it will replace your current motion adjustments so it can get his face, the gentleman that we're looking at, in the center of that square frame. The way it's set up. If you choose nest clips, that will keep the motion adjustments but remove the transitions. So that may be what you need. It just depends on what you've done to your footage. But for this demo, just choose don't nest clips and then go ahead and say create. It's going to analyze the footage. My computer actually is processing it fairly quickly, and there it's finished. So notice as we play through this, he is in the center of the frame for the most part, and it's done a pretty nice job. And that would have taken us a lot of time to make sure that he was always in the center of the frame. It would probably help if you guys saw the first one. So you see he's off to the right there. He moved forward. There he's a little bit more in the center for the second clip, and he's back over to the right for the third clip. So when it did the square, it really did a nice job of putting him as the main focus in the amount of space we had to work with. So that is a really fast way to do the reframe, and you guys can go ahead and try that out for 05 auto reframe sequence.